Namaste. My name is Aum Cara, and the topic of this video is what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is probably one of the most abused, sorry for my language, but it's probably one of the most abused terms in spirituality today. There are lots of people out there who claim to be enlightened today. There are lots of them out there. Whether they are really enlightened or not, or whether they really understand what is enlightenment, is another thing. This video is a little bit provocative, so I understand that, and many people will not like it. But, as usual, I'm trying to bring out whatever I know to be the truth. Whether somebody likes it or not is another thing. So, what is really enlightenment? Enlightenment is a state by reaching which nothing that can be known remains to be known. I'll repeat again. Enlightenment is a state by reaching which nothing that can be known remains to be known. Not everything in this cosmos can be known, even to enlightened souls or enlightened masters. Only God, Om Himself, knows everything. And the mysteries of His creation, all mysteries of His creation are known only to Om Himself, to God Himself. Even enlightened masters don't know everything. But whatever can be known will be known to enlightened masters or enlightened souls. Some of the enlightened souls don't choose to be masters, don't choose to be gurus. They just become enlightened and choose not to teach. Some decide to teach. But I'll give you examples. If somebody has not studied the language of Croatia, I'm not even sure what it's called, probably Croatian. But if that person is enlightened, he's never really studied it, but if you give him a book in Croatian today, or even if you don't give him the book, but you say the book is lying in that building 2 miles away on that floor, can you read it for me please, sitting here, without even physically seeing the book from here? The enlightened master or the enlightened soul should be able to read it backwards, sitting here, without even physically seeing it. That is the enlightened master. How many people can do that today who claim to be enlightened? This is a very small example, very small example. I'm not even talking about the big things. In ancient days in India, people might have heard about, people today might have heard about the term, quote unquote, samadhi. The yogis could take samadhi. What it means is that they could they could leave the body. For example, leave the body here and go and travel on another plane to somewhere else. But the physical body here would not move. It would go into a samadhi, motionless state, and they could go somewhere else. They could probably take you also, but your physical body here would go into a samadhi or become motionless here. That's the yogis. The very advanced yogis could do that. However, enlightened masters or enlightened souls go can go one step further than that. They could be here, for example, in California, talking to you right now, and also be somewhere else, for example, in Australia, in Sydney. They could be in Sydney at the same moment, physically talking to someone else. They could also take you and leave you talking here and take you to some other place along with them. That is enlightened master. That the, though, and this again is not the biggest thing for an enlightened master. There are much more bigger things than this also. For example, there is a place where we all go after we die. Except for enlightened masters, everybody else goes there for the judgment day, and subsequently things happen after that. But let's not get into that. But there's a place where we go, where we are taken. Now, the an enlightened soul or an enlightened master can go to that place before death, and he or she can take you also before your death to that place. They can show you that place. That is an enlightened master. That place is called Dharampuri in Indian languages. They can take you there before your death. That is one of the biggest tests for an enlightened master. There are close to 200 enlightened masters in the world today, on earth, in many countries, not only India. They are even there in America. However, beware of those who call themselves as enlightened. They're probably not. An enlightened master does not have any need to say or prove that they are enlightened. Think about it. They are enlightened. They have already got, they have already received whatever there is to receive in this world. They have received the best thing. They don't need anything more. They don't need to be famous. They don't need any money from you. They don't need anything. They don't need fame. They don't need sex. They don't need anything. Why should they prove that they are enlightened? Why do they have to claim that they are enlightened? They don't even have to teach anyone if they don't want to. They're already in bliss, as much bliss as is possible in Lord's creation. So they have no need to do that. Most likely, the enlightened souls today are hidden. They might not be teaching, or they could be teaching, but in small groups, hidden from most common people. They don't want hundreds and thousands of students. There's no need for them. They would rather have a few genuine students to teach to. Those are the real enlightened masters. It is hard to search for one, but they are out there. Namaste. My name is Aum Cara. Om Guru.